So
Yes.
what exactly are we talking about today?
We are still in prepositions. We are still talking about in, on, and at. But today we are going to be talking about in, on, and at when it comes to directional prepositions. We talked about in, on, and at with location and time, and we covered all the grammar about that last week and the week before that. And so today we are going to talk about prepositions in, on, and at with directional. Of course, at is not so much directional, it's an age. We'll explain that as we go through the information. What am I getting? You get to explain that one. Just kidding.
These are hard to explain.
Joking.
I mean, English speakers, we don't have any trouble with it, but they're hard to explain.
Yes. So, of course, before we get into the topic today, just a reminder, what is a preposition, RJ?
Well, a preposition is a word that connects and shows a relationship between two nouns or pronouns. So what does that really mean, Amy?
So that basically means we show how one word is... how it connects to another word. So, for example, when we use the word in, we talked about location last time, there is coffee in the cup. It tells you where. Usually they answer the questions of where, when, and what's the third one? I guess it doesn't really, directional doesn't really tell us any direction. There's not really a question. How did they do this? How? Not how. But of course, the one thing to remember, the reason why we continually keep saying that prepositions are one of the most difficult parts for you to understand in English grammar is because in the English language, we have over 150 different unique ways to use each preposition. Of course, some prepositions have multiple meanings, like for example, in, on, and at. We've talked about that, and there's at least 3 meanings for each. But of course, some one of them, if I remember right, in has like 8 different options, so that's 8 of the 150 right there. So really and truly, the only way you're going to be able to master prepositions is by practice, memorization, and just trying to find ways to use them in your vocabulary. And even as normal, regular English speakers, we don't often use every 150 options of prepositions. However, there are 150
I can't list them.
Yeah, I can't either. There's some big ones, of course, but we have 150 uses. So one of them, the one we talked about the first week, was location.
I was here for location.
Yes, RJ did location with mom.
Yes,
mom.
With your mom.
Mom and RJ did location. This tells you where. The cup and the bag are showing relationship here. The cup is by my bag. Of course, this is not the in, on, or at that we've been talking about, but it's using the preposition
we could
by.
Say the cup is on my bag.
On my bag.
That's location.
Very precarious location to have a cup on top of the bag.
Well, it's a solid bag, like a square.
There, like a suitcase, like a what do they call those?
A valet.
Valet. Yeah. So on shows location, and then tonight we're going to be talking about direction, showing that there's a movement that's happening. It's not just a point A to point B. It's there. This shows there's a motion that's happening. So she went to school by bus. This is the by means of bus, meaning how did she get to school? She went on a bus. So that's, I guess, direction kind of does answer how sometimes. And then of course, and then of course time. Time prepositions show when. When is an amount of time. Sometimes it's a specific day, but like for example, Instagram Live must start by 10 p.m. at least, but now it's 10:30. We changed 9:30.
My kids go to bed at 8:30.
Yes, so it's another.
They're supposed to.
Do they fall asleep though?
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, but so time. This tells you when, so it answers the question when between these two pronouns or nouns. So let's get into tonight's information. We are going to start with
in.
Directional.
As a direction.
As a direction.
So
go for it, RJ.
Let's see. Amy got in the car. Wait. Amy got in the car and drove. Okay.
So
so there's a motion that Amy is doing. She's getting inside the car.
Yes, it's different from saying there's coffee in a cup. I got into a car. There's a motion of me going from outside of the car into the car. Whereas when you talk about coffee being in a cup, you're just talking about it being there. So this is how in is different from location, because it's not just telling you that I am in the car. It's saying I went from being outside of the car and moved into the car. So we say that this form of in is showing a motion or a direction in this sentence.
And your mom was saying earlier, if you want to be, if somebody gets confused and you want to be clear, you can say into.
Yes, into. That's a very good point. In and into. So into
instead of inside.
Yes.
Into.
Very good. Yeah. So in is kind of, I guess, like the short form of it. So location would be inside, whereas into is showing the motion. Second sentence, you want to go for a read that one?
That sounds very formal. Shall we go in the garden?
Ooh, shall we go? It sounds like
I almost want to. I do want to say into this sentence, but that's correct.
Yeah, in is fine. You can say into. Pretty much any in when it's used in direction, you can change it into. So yes. So shall we go into the garden? So this is showing a motion of being outside the garden and moving into the garden. So this is how we use the directional preposition of in. So in or into.
Okay.
All right. Then we have.
Now we're on.
Now we're on.
Yes.
On. So on. We're talking about direction with on. We got some examples here. We had to change up the sentence a little bit because it was a little strange, but we made a new one here.
Okay. Barry and Sherry went on a plane this week.
Barry and Sherry went on a plane this week. So this is another way you could say it is onto, into, onto, and it helps it onto a plane. So they went from being off of the plane onto a plane.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so onto a plane. And then Cheryl got on a bus to go to the store. So there's a couple prepositions in here, but on
so something
a bus.
Slightly different from last week, I think.
Yeah. Yes, because getting on a bus, I am on a bus, is just telling you the location. But Cheryl got on a bus. She got onto the bus. She went from being out of the bus on to the bus. So it changes up just a little bit. So that is the on that we have there.
All right, this is different. We're just talking about age for this one.
Yes. So there's no directional form for at, but there is another use of it in prepositions, which is when we're talking about a specific age. So this is almost like saying it's a lot of times people use by instead of at when talking about age. So let's just explain.
That's a little bit different.
So this one, children start walking at 1 year old. A lot of times you can exchange it with by instead of at, but at is a perfectly acceptable use of this in this sentence. At.
But by means you don't actually have to be one, doesn't it?
Yeah. But like a lot of kids start walking before that. So they start walking by one. So meaning usually not past that age. But at would just kind of basically be you start walking, and at 1 year old you're most likely already walking. Also, second sentence, you want to read that?
Okay. People usually graduate from college at 18.
High school.
I should say high school.
High school. We're going to change college.
In the U.S. at least.
Unless you're very smart. So yes, graduate from high school at 18. Meaning, by the time you turn 18, most of the time you're done with high school. Most people, on average. So at a specific age. So if you're trying to explain to somebody that once they reach a certain age, they usually will have accomplished something, you use the preposition at. So at. People usually graduate from college, high school at 18. Unless you're incredibly wise.
Why? Those people maybe at like 20, but I don't know anybody at 18.
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody that either. All right, so let's do a really short, quick review of what we just went through. So remember, we did a couple on direction and one on age. So we had in, which is into, getting into something. Remember, it shows a motion of being out of something and going into something. Then we did on or
to.
onto, yeah. So it again shows being off of something and going on to something like a bus or a plane. And then the last one we talked about was at a specific age. So once we reached a specific age, we accomplished something at a specific age. Okay? So.
I think we're getting more people coming in here.
Yeah.
Right
at the end.
Is that your mom?
Yes, Mom is on here.
room.
Hi, Mom. All right, so.
Learning about prepositions.
Yes, we're just, for those of you who just popped in, we are talking about prepositions. We are getting into our favorite time of the evening, and that is quiz time. Man, you're like a master at this now.
Well, I bet I didn't have the jazz hands.
Oh, it's okay. You were holding the paper.
Okay.
You were holding the paper. All right, so just over the last 2 weeks, we are going to do a fill in the blank option. So it's pretty much, it's actually easier than our multiple choice, because usually our multiple choice you have 4 options. This only is 3 options, because your options are going to be in, on, or at. Yeah. So in, on, or at. Well, I just went in the order.
Sorry.
So in, on, or at. I'm going to move this over just a smidge so that we could see, make sure we see everybody's answers. So we are going to give you a sentence with a blank, and you are going to tell us which best fits, in, on, or at, based off of the information we just went through in our materials. So let's go through it. RJ.
All right. Let's ride on a train to go to the theater. Let's ride in a train to go to the theater, or let's ride at a train to go to the theater. This is a little different than today.
Yes, this is a little bit different. So and also remember, we're looking for the direction option, okay? So there may be one that sounds okay that might fit here, but we're actually looking for one specifically. So which is it? Is it in, on, or at? Is it let's ride in a train, let's ride on a train, or let's ride at a train to go to the theater?
Okay. Now I wait for the lag.
Just a little bit of a lag. We'll wait to see.
Let's see.
We'll just start doing the Jeopardy theme.
I'm just going to get closer to the screen.
We just start. Anybody have any answers here? Anybody want to give it a shot? Let's ride what? In, on, or at? Now remember, like we mentioned earlier, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because I forgot to say John's line. That the only good mistake is a mistake that you learn from. No, RJ. The only good mistake is a mistake that you learn from. So give it a guess, and if you get it wrong, we'll tell you why you got it wrong. So let's see. I guess what is it, RJ? What is the right answer here?
I believe it's going to be let's ride on a train.
Yes.
To go to the theater.
That is correct. So because we're looking for the direction, in technically would work if we're just talking about location.
We're going into the
But
train.
we are talking about direction. So on to a train. So we need the direction preposition on in this sentence.
Okay.
Right? Next.
All right. My sister, I do have a sister. My sister went in the store just now. My sister went on the store just now. My sister went at the store just now.
I remember doing this one before and thinking technically one of them works. The other one works. However, it's very odd.
No. It still sounds kind of strange.
Yes. So which one is it?
What's the best sounding
Yes,
preposition?
The most normal preposition that will go here for a more normal situation. My sister went in the store just now, on the store just now, or at the store just now. What do you guys think? You're just like slowly, every time moving in. Hello? Anybody want to answer?
I don't think we have any participators today.
We don't. Usually we have a couple of them jump in.
I don't recognize any screen names either.
Just Mom and Guia. That's the only screen names I
Well, they can answer too.
Yeah. Gia, where are you? All right, so what's the answer to this one?
My sister went, I want to say to the store. That's not right. That's not an option.
This is not an option. In, on,
My
or at.
sister went in the store just now.
Into the store. So into the store is the most normal way of saying it. So into the store.
Georgia said
at. Georgia said at. into, because you're going inside of. The idea is going from outside in to the store. So the
It's a really long. That's a lot of views
use
on that screen name. Sorry.
So yeah, so the only answer that can go here is into. Technically, you could do onto, but it's a very, very odd sentence. Very odd sentence. So in is the right answer here. So in or into. Okay.
You're trying to break into the store. If you're on the store.
Yes. All right.
All right. My date is on a taxi on his way. My date is in a taxi on his way. My date is at a taxi on his way.
I hope that one of these is not the right answer, because that would be very dangerous. Which one? In, on, or at? My date is in a taxi, on a taxi, or at a taxi.
This is one that gets messed up a lot. This is a difficult one to get correct.
I think that's because there's a lot of them that on is okay and in is okay, but it's only for specific ones. So, but there's only one right answer here.
For a taxi.
For a taxi. In, on, or at? What do you guys think?
Georgia says my date is in a taxi.
That is correct. In a taxi. Hopefully they're not on a taxi.
You can be on a taxi, yes, but that's
very dangerous. Don't be on a taxi. All right. Next one, very good, Mom. Yes, Mom got it too. In. All right, next one.
How about you read this one?
All right, I got my first car in 21, on 21, or at 21. Which one is it? In, on, or at? I got my first car in 21, on 21, or at 21. Which one is it? Give us your answers. Gotta represent John. John does that every time.
Okay.
We used to actually keep like a counter. How many times John would say, "Give us your answers."
I don't know if I can do that.
You guys say it in like a
Georgia
voice.
There's
All right, we got one. Gia says at. All right, and is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I got my first car at 21.
Yes, at 21. So remember we talked about age, how at a specific time, a specific age, you accomplished something, and this is a car. You got a car at 21.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
They're not in any particular order, so.
Okay. Is this true?
Yeah.
Is this a true statement? Okay.
This is a true statement.
Her brother John. Okay. John got married on 25, in 25, or at 25.
Which one? Which one is it? In 25, on 25, or at 25?
Don't make me sing quiz music.
Quiz time. What quiz music do you know?
Wait. Oh, that was for the last
That
one.
was from the last one. What quiz music do you know? Oh,
Who's
yeah,
the
they have
Jeopardy
Jeopardy
music?
music.
Do they have Jeopardy in Japan?
I don't know. They have it on Netflix, so probably. They have local at Netflix. What do you guys think? John got married in, on, or at 25? What do you think? I guess we'll just go ahead and answer. What do you
Okay.
think?
John got married at 25.
Yes, again, just like last time, at. So it's at the age of is basically what it's short for. So John got married at the age of 25, at 25. All right?
T, K,
See?
3 A's, and N, and 62.
We got enough time. All right.
I have to wake up at 30 minutes, in 30 minutes, or on 30 minutes.
Wow, this is a kind of review of
This-
all of our
This
stuff.
is not from today.
No, this is not from today. This is a throwback here. Quick pop quiz. If you remember, if you were here for the last couple of times.
There's only one. There's only one that makes sense here.
Yes. So this is not from our directions. This is a review from our last couple of lessons. I have to wake up in, on, or at 30 minutes. We'll give you a hint. It has to do with time. Which is not really a hint at all, because
No,
it obviously has the time there.
If you don't know minutes is time, I think you're on the wrong channel here.
Yeah.
It's a channel.
Channel. Maybe a page. All right. Gia says in
To wake up.
in 30
in 30
minutes.
minutes.
You got it. In 30 minutes. In 30 minutes is in fact correct. All right. We'll go maybe one more. I think we got enough time for one more. Right, RJ?
I'm trying not to laugh. If you get the okay. I like to ride on cars. I like to ride in cars, or I like to ride at cars.
We're looking for the normal person answer for this,
It
not
can all
the
be correct,
daredevil.
but there's only one that's not really weird.
Yes. There's one that's the average normal answer that you would give. There's another one that's excessively dangerous. Don't do this.
I think two of them are dangerous.
True. Very true. Which one is it? I like to ride in, on, or at cars.
For your average person.
For your average person. No daredevils here. My son might end up being like this. He has no fear. William. Anybody got any answers here? You want to
I
go
think we're
and
going to have
answer
to
it?
fill in the blank ourselves.
All right. Oh, there we go. In is correct. In
I like to ride.
cars. In cars. Very good. Because yes, on cars you technically can ride on cars, but we do not recommend it here at Ethos.